So now with episode 4, once again, the fan base is very divided. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I'm sort of more on the plus side. I can see some of the flaws people brought up, but again, in terms of the Star Wars canon and what is typical of the tropes within the main film series as well as some of the other shows, it felt pretty much in line. The major issue people have is how all of a sudden Obi is so powerful in the Force. Well, that is how the Force operates. Sometimes it takes away powers, then it gives people powers. It lets people do things, then it doesn't let people do things. If you hate the prequels, this is a big issue, like how the Jedi just declined. But if you paid attention, they do questionable things with the Force. So for whatever reason, the Force is like, okay, we're gonna take away power from you, let Sidious take over, and that's gonna set up Luke to destroy Sidious and then bring more balance to the Force. Seems rather weird. Why would the Force want this very long, stretched out conflict? But that's what the Force wants. That's what the Force wants. Nothing atypical for Star Wars. I would agree, though, that the rescue operation they do at the end could have been done a little bit better. I mean, I understood what they were up to, but it seemed to me they could have done it in a much cleaner fashion or just been there a lot sooner. Really, it's Obi's basically doing almost all the work himself. He has one ally helping him out, but it's like, okay, I get it. They wanted to show he's getting his mojo back. It would have been better. Maybe they have a couple of droids help them out and things like that. It just felt a little bit too seamless the way they sort of enter the base and then exit it. So I agree there. There could have been more complications. But overall, really strong episode. Not as strong as episode 3, but it's only a slight decline in quality, giving this a 7.5, 6.5. It's fairly strong, very action packed, very well performed. I actually liked Leia a lot because it's fine that she was a little silly or asked questions at the beginning, but now she's taking this way more serious and acting way more in character. Like she knows there's a threat. She knows this is a threatening environment, so they cut out a lot of her cute, annoying behavior. So that was, I think, was a very good decision. So overall, very strong, including Reva acting very much in character. I admit people were disappointed that Vader didn't kill her by the end of the episode. He could have gone further. He could have given her a much more severe punishment, but they do explain it. I don't know if it's out of character though. I guess the more interesting question is the Inquisitors, like why they just don't take revenge. They should be at least trying to physically attack her, but I get it. It's a game of manipulation. It could have been done a little bit better, but Reva was actually pretty good, and I think they've set up what they're going to do with her. That the way she's talking to Leia and trying to interrogate her, she's kind of projecting what happened with her. Presumably, she expected the Jedi to save her, but they didn't, so she feels betrayed by the Jedi. And I guess Obi and her are going to have a big confrontation, a conversation, and she's going to figure out, no, the Jedi were really good. They tried their best, etc., etc. In terms of the writing and the acting, as well as the main plot, yeah, it's very predictable where they're going. So if you wanted a much more innovative story, a much more creative story, I can understand being disappointed. But if you wanted the classical Star Wars feeling, they're going through the numbers pretty thoroughly. And in terms of like, well, it should look better at least. It's a TV show. People have this weird imagination that Disney has infinite amounts of money, and therefore they have to spend the money on this thing. Simultaneously, these fans who hate this saying, well, I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to pirate it. I'm not even going to pay Disney Plus. And they're complaining about the quality. Well, the money has to come from somewhere. So, like it or not. Granted, maybe if George Lucas was doing this, he might have splurged, but Lucas cared about money too. He was willing to cut corners. People don't believe me. People should check out that atrocious animated film he put out, which didn't look very good. And even Jar Jar looked a little iffy in the prequel sometimes. If you looked at him in the background, you'd be like, they kind of got lazy with the animation. For what it is, a Star Wars television show, it's fairly well done, but it is fairly predictable as to where they're going and what the main conflict will be. I guess it'll all depend on the epic battle that they've set up between Anakin and Obi-Wan, but there are nice few touches that they added, such as kind of merging Hayden Christensen's voice with the, for lack of a better word, the original voice, King Lion voice. And so he sounds like he's kind of midway between the Vader of the original trilogy and the Vader we get at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So there's some interesting mysteries because apparently there's some people in these weird stasis fields, like Jedi maybe, who are captured but not killed. Maybe we have Mace in one of those frozen pods or whatever. So some interesting mysteries were set up. So overall, fairly strong. But yeah, you could kind of predict most of what will happen. Even the twists were fairly weak. So at that level, it's not very creative, but it is well done.